So today I thought I'd do one of my most frequently requested videos, which is a guide to how I designed and how I'm using this greenhouse. I did originally want the greenhouse where this lawn is, a really big greenhouse like to dominate the garden, but in negotiation with the kids they really wanted to keep the lawn until at least the grandkids were all about 10. And that's a long time to wait for a greenhouse. So I decided to keep the lawn because it's such a great play space and put the greenhouse where the old kids' playhouse was. So I extended it a little bit. So the playhouse, I think, was 8x6, but it had a sort of veranda on it. So it probably was more like 8x8 or something. And the greenhouse is 8x14. So let me sort of take you around and I'll talk about the sort of design features. So the first thing is how far away I decided to have it from the wall. So I decided to have it 18 inches away from the wall. That made really nice, easy access for maintenance of the wall and maintenance of the greenhouse. You can get a ladder in there and all that sort of thing. I'm really pleased I made that decision. It did push the greenhouse out into the garden a little bit further than I'd like, but overall it was a great decision. And the secondary benefit was that it gives me a really nice kind of hidden storage area down the back of the greenhouse where I can put all my compost bags and things. So that was the first thing. Second thing was I really wanted it on a brick dwarf wall. Part of that is just the aesthetics. I just really like the way that these dwarf walls look, although mine's a bit salty at the moment, because obviously the greenhouse isn't very old and the dwarf wall's not very old either. So I just really like that, but there's quite a few advantages I think to a dwarf wall. One is it kind of hides a lot of mess. You'll see when we go inside the greenhouse that underneath the bench, the trestle table there's a lot of mess and it's all completely hidden by the dwarf wall, which is really nice. Second thing, I think it keeps things a little bit warmer, and it sort of strengthens the structure of the greenhouse quite a bit, I think. There's less greenhouse frame, more nice solid wall, and overall I'm just really happy with that decision. So the actual greenhouse itself is from the greenhouse people, and the model is Royale, and you can see that I chose this anthracite grey. I partly chose that because also last year we had all these garden buildings built, and we chose anthracite grey for all the detailing on those, the gutters and the doors and the downpipes and all that sort of thing. So it just matches in really nicely, but I also just think it really makes the contrast between the structure of the greenhouse and the plants inside the greenhouse really pop. The aesthetics of these things was really important to me because I've got no visual memory at all, so I'm very much in the real world, because if I close my eyes I've got no ability to visualize anything about the world. So yeah, aesthetics are super important. And one of the nice things is the greenhouse people, they have these shelves as well, which are colour matched aluminium shelves, and they're really nice as well. I'm very happy with those. So outside other features, I've got 4 roof vents, of which 3 are working. That one isn't working, so I need to get a new cylinder for that one from the greenhouse people because it's still under guarantee. And I've got 3 louvres, and those features are really useful because these roof vents are automatic venting. So if I leave home early in the morning when it's too cold to open the doors, I can just put these louvres open a little bit and just leave the roof vents to open later on in the day, say at sort of 9 or 10 o'clock when it warms up enough. And it just moderates the greenhouse temperature until I can sort of get home, maybe at midday or something like that, and then I'll open the doors up and all that. And obviously when we get to summer I'll have the doors and everything open all the time. I chose 2 double doors, and the reason that I did that is because from my experience of having a polytunnel, It's really difficult to keep a greenhouse or a polytunnel cool enough in the summer. In fact, it's been pretty difficult to keep it cool enough in spring. So opening up these double doors at both ends gives a nice free flow of air all the way through, and these louvers and the roof vents and everything all help. So I'm hoping that I can keep the temperature sort of moderated, and it just gives me nice easy access from both sides. I'm going to put a little path down here as well, and I've got a nice little patio here, really nice and sheltered, where I can sort of stage plants as they're sort of gradually moving out of the greenhouse into the outside of the kitchen garden. And I've got a staging area down at that end as well, where I've got my little hardening off bench and things as well. So yeah, gutters integrated, but actually I'm not using them because I don't want to cluster the garden up with water storage, because I've got water storage on the house roof, and the house roof is huge by comparison with the greenhouse roof. So I can easily capture enough rainwater off the house roof. I don't really need to worry about capturing it off the greenhouse roof. But if you want that, then that's also a nice feature. So let's take a look inside. So let's start at the floor. So I decided to have Indian sandstone paving, and that is partly because I've got Indian sandstone paving everywhere else on the patios, so it just sort of matches in with those. And but the other reason is obviously the water just soaks straight through Indian sandstone, and obviously there's a lot of water in here, partly because the greenhouses leak a little bit. Also, obviously you've got a lot of plants in here, so you're watering a lot. There's basically just a lot of water hitting this Indian sandstone, and there's no accumulation. It just, as soon as it hits, it just soaks straight through, and that is a big bonus by comparison with concrete, for example. So pretty happy with the floor. I do have this kind of central runner here, which is these sort of tiles, and these are kind of just a foamed sort of tile that I've got down the middle, and that's because I'm just in here a lot barefoot or in my socks, and it's just nice a surface to walk on. And then underneath here I've got, let me just take this off, I've got a drainage channel here. So if I'm washing the greenhouse down completely, which I probably will be in October, and you know there's a lot of water, too much perhaps to soak through the floor, then I can brush it into this centre gully. It's just an open bottom trench full of pebbles, so that has worked pretty well so far. So next up, let me talk about the shelves. So the shelves are really nice. They're from the greenhouse people. They're expensive, but I'm in a fortunate position that I've been able to fund this greenhouse from my YouTube channel, and so you know money wasn't quite as much of a constraint as it would have been otherwise. But I really like them. They strengthen the structure of the greenhouse up quite nicely, really stiffen it up, and they obviously add a huge amount of space. So the greenhouse is 14 foot long, so I've got 28 foot of shelving, and to be honest, without that I just wouldn't have been able to cope. So that's been really nice. And of course up here we've got a lot, it's all box section, this greenhouse. It's really nice and strong, and obviously in these box sections you can put all sorts of different clips and hooks and things like that. So I've got hooks for the strawberries, and hooks for these tomatoes, and I can hang them from these strengthening bars as well. There's just loads of places basically to hang stuff, and there's lots of little hooks and things you can buy, like those up there. You can put wires up to train things like cucumbers and beans and things as well. So I really like that. I really want this roof to be sort of full of greenery in summer. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the box structure and the ability to put all those sorts of hooks in. I'll show you actually a few of the little hooks and things that I'm using. And next down, you can see I've got grow lights in here. So the grow lights hang from the shelves very conveniently, and grow lights are pretty expensive, but what I did was I just bought this whole, apart from this one I think, all these big grow lights. I bought them secondhand off eBay as a job lot, and they were so cheap. I think they were seconds from a sort of commercial greenhouse operation or something like that, and all of them had like little issues with them, some of which I've been able to resolve, and some have just resolved on their own, and some of them have just ignored. But yeah, they've been really nice, and it's been a real bonus, especially in winter, to be able to recreate basically the growing conditions of a different season. So basically I'm sort of I'm making the plants think that they're in spring when they're actually growing in winter, which is surprisingly economical to do, and so far it hasn't cost me anything to run the grow lights. That hasn't been covered easily by the harvests that the grow lights have enabled. And the secondary benefit of having these grow lights in here is at night time, when these grow lights are on, this greenhouse looks stunning. You know, it really makes a difference to sort of be out here working or just looking out from the conservatory or the kitchen, out at the garden when the greenhouse is all lit up. It makes those dingy winter nights seem so much more bearable. So yeah, that's been really nice, and they're on raised lower adjusters and things like that. So right now they're close to the top setting, but they can be lowered down quite a lot. So what's next then? So next down are the bits I built, and Debbie and I built this trestle table and the benches. So there's 2 benches and 1 big trestle table. We kind of designed this so that we can pull this trestle table into the middle and use it for big sort of family dining events. Our house, we can only get 8 people around our kitchen table. So when we've got 14 people here, which we often do like a few times a year, we can clear all this stuff out. A lot of it goes up onto these shelves, some of it goes out onto the patio. Pull this out, takes about an hour, and then we've got the 2 benches for people to sit on. We actually had Boxing Day lunch and dinner in here, and it was lovely, really lovely. Just this little heater down here, which I'll talk about later, kept it toasty warm, and yeah, we had a really lovely day. It happens to be my birthday. So that was really nice. Plus there's loads of space in here. So intentionally I've got loads of space because I've got my comfy chair in here, and I've got another comfy chair there. It's just really nice to sit out here and have plenty of space. So I'm intending to keep lots of space in here. It's just nice to be working in here when you're not tripping over yourself, but also just nice to chill out. So let me just talk about this trestle table for a minute. So it doesn't go to the end, so it's only 10 foot long, so that leaves 2 foot at each end, and I've been using these ends quite effectively, I think. So here I had a peach tree and an apricot tree there outside on the patio. Now I've now got French beans and cucumbers there, and at that end I had peas, and again those peas are now outside, and I've got courgettes in the corners and the cucumber again. And then so I'm intending to do sort of similar things, always growing things in these corners that require the height. Probably in summer when these courgettes go outside, I'll probably have melons in here, for example. And yeah, I'm just really excited about the possibilities of growing stuff in the corners. And the little benches that I built slot underneath the trestle table, and they make shelves. And you can see down here that I've got loads and loads of storage shelves here, and as kind of shelves, I'm using these big drip trays, gravel trays, and so they just pull out, makes it really easy to access them. And yeah, and so that if I want this more space, I can take that little bench there and slide it underneath here, or I can pull this out and get access to another bench and grow on that other bench if I wanted to. So it's just really flexible. I'm very happy with that. It took us one day, probably about 6 hours, to make the trestle table and the benches, and it was a really lovely little project to do together, and yeah, we really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend making your own. On this bench here, over winter, that's where I had all my lettuces down here, and then once the lettuces were done, I switched to potatoes, and once the potatoes were outside or in the polytunnel as they are now, I switched to peppers and tomatoes. And up here, where I currently got all of these beautiful strawberries and all of these lovely tomatoes, I also had lots of lettuces in these hanging baskets over winter. So I've used the space up here quite effectively, I think, and I'm intending to do sort of similar thing in autumn, so growing things like Asian greens in autumn in the hanging baskets, and then lettuces later on. And I will probably try and keep some tomatoes going as well later on into the season. And I've also got some day neutral strawberries coming as well, to see if I can keep strawberries going in this greenhouse for a long time. So what else? Design features. So I have got this little heater here, which I've been really happy with, apart from this thermostatic control blew up on one of them, the first one that I got, and so it still works fine, it's just the thermostat doesn't work anymore. So I've got it at that end there, and I use that one as a fan, and I use this one as a heater, and this can very easily keep the greenhouse frost free no matter how cold it gets here. So even when it was like -10 outside, I could keep it frost free fairly cost effectively. And most of the stuff that I grow in here over winter doesn't matter. A light frost is not going to hurt it, even a medium frost isn't going to hurt it, but it will stunt the growth. And so I did really notice a substantial improvement in growth just by keeping it just above freezing in here. And now I'm keeping it, so from the middle of April until probably early May, I'm trying to keep it about sort of 10 degrees centigrade, and that just makes it so much easier with the peppers and the tomatoes and the cucumbers and all of that sort of thing. And earlier on in the season I kept it frost free for all of the potatoes and things that I've grown in here. So this video forms the introduction basically to my design and growing guide for greenhouses, which is one of the chapters in my ebook. So if you want loads more details about the sort of why of the decisions that I took, like why did I choose electric heaters, why did I choose smart plugs, why did I choose to have grow lights in here, how do I do ventilation and keep disease sort of pressure low in here, how do I heat, when do I heat, and all of that sort of thing, what do I sow in here for in each of the seasons, and all that detail is in this chapter of the ebook. So I do sort of recommend you take a look at that if you want to know more. So my name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.